Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Frienemy Podcast, a place where best friends who hate each other get together and have various discussions. I'm your host, Mike, joined, as always, with my co-host, JP. JP, what's going on today?
I'm doing good. I was doing good until about halfway through the day. I ran into the homeless problem. It's an epidemic here in California.
It is. It's really bad. Well, what do you mean you ran into it?
Literally ran into it. So, I like to go on a 6-mile run through the streets of our town. Just feel the vibes of the city. See if I can get some of that meth energy,
Meth energy? Like it's in the air?
It's in the air. It definitely is. So, I'm running. I see a homeless person there, sitting there. And I'm like, oh, okay. You're in a shady city when every time you pass a homeless person, you gotta look behind you to make sure you don't get stabbed with a broken glass.
So you're on your run, you gotta make sure he's not running behind you.
Yeah, I always gotta do that. I got these noise canceling headphones too. I can't hear shit, so it's super scary. Then I'm running, and then I see this girl. It's a homeless lady. Titties completely out. No shirt, just boobs out, shirt in her hand, and she's smacking the shit out of another homeless guy on the ground. So I was like, whoa. So I went over there and, immediately, I got to get out of there.
Right.
I speed up my run because everyone knows if you get bit by a homeless person, you turn into one.
Oh, man, it's like The Walking Dead at, some parts of our city. It's terrible.
Yeah, you get bit, and then you get a fever, and then you pass out. Then you wake up with holes in your socks. And, oh, where's my house?
Oh, man. So, yeah, nobody has the answer to the homeless problem, but I'm glad you made it out of there safe. We're going to kick it over to our sponsor this week, and really happy to have the sponsor. This week's sponsor is my mom. She wrote me a check for $12, said be safe and have fun. Thanks, Mom.
Thank you, Mike's mom.
We're going to move over to everyone's favorite segment, and that's this week's installment of Man Movie. What's the Man Movie this week, JP?
This week's Man Movie is another one of my top 5 favorite movies of all time. I think this is the second of my top 5 favorite movies of all time. Tombstone.
Oh, Tombstone. This one actually came highly requested by a viewer, and you know what? It was too good to pass up. I had to put it on there. So we're getting right into Tombstone. JP, what do you give Tombstone in the category of action?
Gonna have to go with a solid A+.
No, it's good.
Gunfights. Doc Holliday. Doc Holliday, easily in the top 10 most badass fictional characters.
Absolutely. Every time he's on screen, he steals the show. Action, JP gave it in, what'd you say, an A+?
A+.
I'm gonna back you on that. The gunfight at the OK Corral, it's freaking awesome. I just rewatched this movie, so getting to see it again, getting the adrenaline flowing. When they're chasing down all the cowboys in that epic montage at the end of the movie, they're just killing guys left and right, on horseback, everywhere. They're killing people basically across all the Wild West at that point. I love that part. Action, totally an A+. JP, what are you going to give Tombstone in the category of dialogue?
Okay, in cars, you have an A, then you have a type S, which is above
Yes.
A. Dialogue's type S in this one.
Oh, man.
A++.
I have to completely agree with you. If you've ever been around somebody that's seen this movie recently, all they're going to do is quote it all day long. This movie has amazing dialogue. And, I think every character kind of gets their moment to shine. There's always one line from somebody that at least sticks out. You know what I mean? You got Wyatt Earp, and you tell him the law's coming. You tell him I'm coming, and hell's coming with me. It's so hype. There's so much. Go ahead. What do you got, JP?
You gonna skin that smoke wagon or just sit there and bleed?
Oh, it's so good. You're gonna do something better. Stand there and bleed.
Oh, that's
so
what
good.
it was. Yeah.
You had the gist.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's so and we can go on and on. Doc Holliday has amazing lines.
I'll be a Huckleberry.
Exactly. Yeah. This movie is infinitely quotable.
I think my favorite scene of dialogue in the whole movie though is when they're playing for he plays Play for Blood?
Yeah.
And he goes, I was just fooling around. And Doc Holliday goes, I wasn't.
The way he says it is so understated. It's so awesome. It's so good. So yeah, dialogue. This movie's firing on all cylinders. We're gonna move into our next topic in Man Movies, and that's gonna be the rating of 80s boob. JP, any 80s boob in this movie?
I don't think there was any 80s boob. There's love interest. I'm gonna have to give it a C- again because just like was it Blade? What was the last movie we did where there was no 80s boob, but there was nobody that I hated to look at in it?
That's true. Yeah, I think Blade got that grade for us. I'm gonna give it the same. Would you say C minus?
Give a C minus.
C minus.
Almost a D because that stupid his love interest when his brother gets killed and she runs up to him. Go away! Can't you see? I'm like, yeah. What are you doing?
When he's out in the rain.
Yeah.
Oh man, that part's funny, man. He's out in the rain. He's got his brother's blood all over his hands, and she comes up to him and he's like, "What do you want? Like, what are you doing here? Go get away from me. My life's falling apart. My wife hates me." He starts off the movie and his wife is addicted to opium. And then he gets an upgrade. He gets this really hot actress chick, and she ends up being rich. Like, at the end of the movie, she goes, "It's fine. My family's rich." So he ends up bagging a sugar mama.
That's the way to do it.
That's the way to go.
And she even has a classic line in it, too. When she talks about drinking that tall glass of water, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Or I like her when she gets out of the wagon, and Billy Zane, who's in the movie, is talking about, like, the quintessential Western type. You know what I mean? Like, eyes closed by the sun. Like, I like all that back and forth, and then she's there and she's like, "I want one," and that's awesome. That's more of the dialogue, less 80s boob. We're gonna get into our final grade of overall manliness. JP, what do you got to give Tombstone for overall manliness?
A+ for sure.
Yeah,
Gunfights, mustaches, killing. A+.
I'm glad you brought up mustache. This movie is basically Mustache the movie. Everybody in this movie has a mustache, and they're all epic. The mustaches in this movie come in all shapes and sizes. Doc Holliday has his, and of course that Wyatt Earp mustache that goes almost like cheek to cheek. It's freaking epic. You got Sam Elliott, who's like basically that guy. He hasn't shaved that mustache since like the 50s. Like he's had that same giant broom handle mustache on his face. It's so epic.
I feel like Sam Elliott's been 50 for 80 years, too.
He looks great. I don't think he's like Keanu Reeves. He doesn't age.
Have you seen the series The Ranch?
I haven't.
He's in it. He plays the dad, and he looks exactly the same as he did in Tombstone.
Speaking of Sam Elliott, there's another movie that we have to get to. I don't know if you've ever seen Roadhouse.
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay, he's in Roadhouse. He looks the exact same. This came out like early 80s. We're going to do Roadhouse because that movie is like, that's over the top manliness as well.
AKA Roundhouse movie.
Oh, Roundhouse all day. Patrick Swayze. Overall manliness for Tombstone, though, we're getting away from ourselves.
Yeah.
We're spinning our wheels over here. I got to give it an A+. This movie's so manly. It's got slow-mo. It's got gunfights. No! When he's in the river bottom, taking on everybody. This movie. I love this movie. Our fans love this movie. That's why we brought it to you guys today. Anything else to say on Tombstone, JP?
You know what I never noticed was in the movie until I watched it? Because I watched the movie a billion times, but Daryl. No, not Daryl. Merle. Merle from The Walking Dead is one of the cowboys.
Right, who also plays Yondu in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
I'm Mary Poppins, y'all. He's in it. Billy Bob Thornton is in
slapped
it.
up.
He gets slapped up. It's a chubbier Billy Bob Thornton. If you don't realize it, that's him in that role of when he's playing the dealer at the faro table. So,
of course, Val Kilmer.
Oh, this cast on this movie is just incredible. From top to bottom. I've been watching the trailers a lot from it, and you know who features prominently in the trailers is Charlton Heston. Charlton Heston is in the trailers quite a bit. He has a really small part in the movie, but he's in every scene in the trailers. Like, I don't understand it.
They're like, hey, this guy has a name?
Yeah, this is a big name. Let's just make him seem like a main character in the movie, even though he's not. I think anything else to say, JP? I mean, we can go on and on about this one.
If you haven't seen this movie, what's your problem? And watch it.
Oh, absolutely. I completely agree with that. I think that wraps up our man movie segment. Again, we could talk on that. We can go a whole nother podcast on Tombstone, but we're going to spare you guys, and we're going to move on to our next segment, and that's going to be a brand new segment, JP. What is it?
This is a segment that correlates with the man movies, because a lot of the times the man movie's best part is the characters. There's some great characters in the movie, and we decided we wanted to pit two of these characters together and see who would win in character combat.
Movie character combat. We reserve the right to change the title later, but the basic premise we like. We're gonna work with it. Hopefully you guys like it too. JP, who do we have? Who are the combatants in this week's installment?
Okay, well, I have the combatant that I researched.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and say who he is. His name is Dom Toretto, Mr. Live Life a Quarter of a Mile himself.
Okay, so you picked the star of the Fast and Furious franchises. I'm going with he is the Lethal Weapon, Martin Riggs from the Lethal Weapon franchise. This is going to be an epic one. I'm going to let you start.
Okay, so for those of you who haven't seen the Fast and the Furious, which I'm sure everyone has, Dom Toretto is basically Captain America. He has super strength. Some of his feats and strength are he broke a neck on impact with a single punch. He also threw Jason Statham, who Jason Statham's at least 200 pounds?
He's probably 200 pounds.
What's his character's name in there?
That's Shaw.
Shaw. He threw him 7 feet in the air. Another thing he did
That's
is...
some world's strongest man numbers right there.
He's also held up a V8 engine with one arm. They say a small block Chevy V8 engine is about 500 pounds.
That's ridiculous.
He also has super speed. He temporarily outran a car while being chased, and he also dodged M4 bullet fire.
M4. Okay, so you just say bullet fire. You don't say M4 bullet fire, but I get the point. I get the point.
Okay.
You're saying.
And probably his most amazing strength is that his durability. He has survived 2 head-on collisions without a scratch. He's also drove off a building that was high enough to hit a helicopter, crashed it, and the only injury he received was he was knocked out.
And I'm not trying to help you, but he also doesn't wear a seatbelt.
Oh, yeah.
He's a nut. And he also beat a dude up with a wrench, right?
Oh, yeah, that's another thing, too. He has beaten several people in combat with no experience, no training, with military and FBI training.
Oh, man, we're going to get into this. Okay, it's my turn. Enough about Dom. Martin Riggs. So this dude, he joined the U.S. Army at age 19, quickly became a member of the Army Special Forces. He received numerous training in hand-to-hand combat, weapons training, and then he became a police officer, which special ops to police officer totally makes sense. But while he was with the Armed Special Forces in Vietnam, he became an assassin under the CIA's Phoenix Project, where he killed a man at 1,000 yards with a sniper rifle. He's very mentally unstable. I think that's brought out a lot in the first movie. He's always contemplating suicide, especially in that first movie. He's trying to kill himself in like every scene that he's in. And his kill count in 4 movies is 43. That's a lot of bodies.
4 movies?
In 4 movies. So,
He's averaging like 10 and a half kills a movie.
He's averaging at least 10 kills a movie. That's a lot of people. That's a room full of people that he's mowing down. He also ranks number 100 on Empire's list of 100 greatest movie characters. I don't think Dom's anywhere near that list.
No, that's
at
a
all.
good one.
But that's Martin Riggs.
Another thing I would like to add to help your character out, he's the fastest white boy alive.
He is. One thing I didn't mention either, apart from being the fastest white boy alive, is you mentioned Dom's durability. He's survived numerous explosions himself. There's so many explosions in these movies that he's either right on the edge of or jumping away from. Cool guys don't look at explosions. That's kind of where this came from. All of his movies feature awesome saxophone music. That's got to be a plus in there. And the mullet. The mullet's like 10 points.
The 90s mullet's badass.
He's got that badass Mel Gibson mullet.
Was it 90s mullet or 80s mullet? I think the weapon was the 90s, right?
I think it's both. I think it started 80s, and then it was so strong it moved on into the 90s. So if these two were to go together, JP, you got Riggs on one hand, and then you got Dominic Toretto in the other. Who's taking down who and why?
This is a close one.
This is.
Now, I'm thinking, if Riggs can get Dom Toretto to the ground, he has the advantage because Dom Toretto is not trained in any grappling arts, wrestling, or jiu-jitsu.
That's something I didn't mention before. So in the first Lethal Weapon movie, they brought in several specialists in these different martial arts as consultants for the movie to help kind of flesh out the character, give him a more well-rounded fighting style, something that people hadn't seen before. And those fighting instructors included instructors in dirty boxing, capoeira, and they actually brought in a Gracie for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So he's got some well-rounded skills there. I mean, he's going to hit him with the capoeira kicks and then go into like an armbar.
Yeah. You know what? I still think even with the training, I have to give it to Dom Toretto.
You have to give it to Dom?
Just using his bullet-dodging speed. You know, he could be able to sprawl the takedown. And then he could punch people and break their necks with a single punch.
Okay, I get that. I respect Dom, but he's just a big muscle dude at this point. And then he actually got surpassed by another person. His franchise got taken away from him. Basically, it's The Rock's franchise now.
That is true.
So I think that brings him down a notch.
But he did beat up Hobbs. He beat up the character Hobbs.
What's his kill count?
I think 1.
Okay, he's got 1.
I think it's 1 kill.
All right, so you got your measly 1 kill. Guy with a wrench versus my dude's killed 43 people. That's so many people.
Well, we gave you guys the stats. Let us know in the comments who you think would win in this fight.
I like that. We're actually going to let you guys decide in the comments below. Let us know who you think won this installment of Movie Character Combat. I like these two characters a lot. I think this was a fun one to do. We're going to move on to our next segment, and that is going to be this week's fan letter. You guys are always writing in, giving us feedback, letting us know what you think. And this one has your name on it, JP.
Ooh. I appreciate when the fans write me letters. Dear Frienemy Podcast. Hi there. Longtime listener here. Loved last week's episode. Your guest was fantastic, though it was a little hard to understand him with his lisp. Yeah, if you talk to him long enough, you get used to it. My question is for JP. JP, you said in the past you use DNA testing services to get an accurate ancestry of your family tree. Can you elaborate on the goblin heritage you tested revealed? Also, what are the challenges you face every day with having both goblin and gnome ancestry? All my love, Beatrice.
Beatrice.
Or Beatrice? Beatrice?
Beatrice.
Beatrice. P.S. Don't Yetis eat gnomes? If so, how did you befriend Kyle?
Ooh, that's a good question on its own right there.
There's a lot of different questions. Okay. Yes. First, I'll answer the P.S.
I was going to say, all right, go with that. Go with that.
Yes, Yetis do eat gnomes. But when I first met Kyle, our friend Rob's house, we wrestled and I choked him out. He tried to eat me in that, and ever since then we've been friends.
You asserted your dominance right away.
Yes. So, actually, yes. Okay, so I have done the DNA testing service, and for those of you who don't know, I'm also 3% African.
Okay.
So
what are you like 40% gnome, 40% goblin?
Yeah. Well, that makes me related to Lil Wayne, which I really like.
Okay.
Because Lil Wayne is a goblin.
Uh-huh.
And he's black. Uh-huh. And my 3%. So I'm only 3% goblin.
Like 7% Hispanic.
Yeah. And I'm actually not gnome. That's a misunderstanding because they're Nordic. I have 0% Nordic in me.
You're not. Oh, no, but it's gnome.
Gnome.
So talk about your gnome heritage.
Gnome heritage. Well, I'm very short. I also have really big feet. And I think that's contributed to gnomes.
The mythological beast that you derive from.
Yeah. But yeah, you know what? It's real easy. You spit in a little tube. If you want to see if you're gnome or if you're gnome or if you're goblin, you're related to Lil Wayne or me, send it in, Ancestry.com. $60 is worth it.
All right. I think you danced around that one quite a bit, but we're going to let you pass on that. All right. That ends our fan letter for this week. We're going to move into our next segment, and this one's a fan favorite too. We're hitting you guys with all the favorites this week, and that is going to be JP's Drawing Corner.
Shibbity-doo-wop, doo-wop.
JP, what masterpiece did you bring for us this week?
I do this for you guys, right? Like, I put myself out there. I give my all, and I'm trying to give you guys art to appreciate. And I got to get criticized. 2 motherfuckers come in telling me I can't draw legs. Little dick bastards criticizing my art. So, what I have for you today is some legs.
You drew legs?
I drew legs just to prove my worth.
Take a look at your legs here. Okay. All right. So they're just legs. You didn't draw anything else other than legs just to shut us up.
Yes.
Okay.
Legs.
And if you guys have been following the past episodes, the past 2 weeks, JP has provided us 2 drawings, and neither of which featured legs. So this week, he was like, you know what? I'm going to put these legs front and center. And then you wrote legs. As if we didn't get enough. You wrote legs at the bottom.
Yeah, this whole time I'm drawing, I'm just thinking about fucking Ricky Martin with a beard Chandler Bing with a mustache insulting my art, and I'm just like, I gotta show these guys what's up.
Man,
how to do this.
We hit a nerve. Victor and I really hit a nerve on that last week's episode. So you've got some legs. Why shorts? Why not just pants?
To show that I could draw legs. I'll show you that I could draw the skin too. I don't want I don't want you guys being like, oh, look at you drew baggy pants because you can't draw calves.
Oh yeah, taking no easy way out on this one.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, and then I think the most I gotta address the elephant in the room here. Again, you've got one color to work with. Why are the reds?
Passion. Red's the color of passion.
You have access to colors, and every week it's red. All right. I appreciate it. I think I take it back, JP. You can draw legs.
Oh, thank you.
All right.
Thank you. I appreciate that. This is for the people. This is for you. So.
And that's another thing. If you guys want to see JP draw something, put it in the comments. Let his imagination go to work. He might bring your thoughts to life.
Yeah, if you want a portrait, if you want me to draw you, I'll do it. If you want me to draw somebody else, I'll do that too.
Put it in the comments. Let's see it. We appreciate all the feedback we get. JP, is there anything else you'd like to add on your drawing of legs?
Just like my normal, you're welcome.
Well, thank you. Thank you, JP. I think that wraps up this week's episode of JP's Drawing Corner.
Shibbity-doo-wop-doo-wop.
All right, we're going to move into our next segment. I think, arguably, our most important segment.
Yes, this is the best segment for the ladies. The ladies give us a lot of feedback on this segment.
Yeah, we don't get any feedback from the ladies regarding any other segment for that matter. It's basically all relationship advice.
Yep.
So we're going to hit you hard and heavy this week with relationship advice. We have a question from a listener, and he says, JP, my girlfriend is a terrible driver. What do I do?
Wait, your girlfriend? You mean just women in general are terrible drivers?
You let her drive?
Yeah.
What year is this? When did she get that right to drive? Next thing you're going to tell me is they can vote? Like, what are we doing here?
You trying to give them some suffrage?
I actually have to sympathize with this listener because my wife's a terrible driver, man. I'm hanging on to the oh shit handle in the car every time we're in the car together. It's gotten to the point where I have to hide her keys. It's gotten really bad. She does this thing where she pulls up as close as she can to the driver in front of her. And I swear to God, she's trying to do her makeup using the other person's rearview mirror. It's that bad. She's that close. It scares the shit out of me. So like I said, you hide the keys. You hide the cars. You just prevent them at all costs from getting behind the wheel.
You know what my solution is to that, right?
What's that?
You won't have to hide anything. Just get a manual, get a stick shift car.
Brilliant. If I know one thing about ladies is that a manual transmission scares the shit out of them.
Yeah.
They have no idea what to do. 3 pedals, their brain explodes.
That little tiny rollback. Oh my God.
We're all gonna die.
They'll never have to worry. You'll never have to worry about it again.
Oh man, I tried teaching my wife how to drive a manual transmission one time, and I needed a new car after that. It was that bad.
Burn up that clutch right there.
Destroyed my car.
You know, another thing with this is that women are also the worst navigators.
Ooh.
You know, I've had my wife before. I'm like, hey, when I come out of this parking lot, do I turn left or right? She's like, turn right. So I come out there, I'm turning right. She's, oh no, what are you doing? You have to turn left. Like you turn right to get to the driveway, and then you turn left. Like, really? Like, I didn't know how to get to the driveway.
Oh my gosh. I think that's some solid advice, JP. Do you have anything else you want to give this listener? Any other feedback other than not letting the women drive?
Yeah, just buy a stick shift.
Buy a stick shift. Answer that is buy a badass sports car.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with them being a trophy wife.
That's right. That's right.
Right there, looking pretty in the passenger seat all day. I think that's the right answer. Yep. I think that, as always, is some solid relationship advice. So, a little shorter episode this week. We've covered our new sponsor. Thank you, Mom. We've gone over our man movie, Tombstone. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. We basically spoiled it for you. We've done our fan letter, some movie character combat. That was a fun new segment. We've also covered some of JP's art and given you guys some solid relationship advice. JP, anything you want to say?
No, we're here for you. We do this for you guys. So like I said, leave some comments. Write me my Instagram. Write on the YouTube channel. Tell us what you want me to draw, what you want us to discuss. You know, we didn't touch any peepees this week. Recommend somebody's peepee that you might want us to discuss.
Try to keep it fresh for you guys. Mix it up
Yeah.
every week. We always appreciate the feedback. Like, comment, subscribe. Let us know how we're doing. JP, anything else you want to say on the way out?
Yeah, that's right. What up, Ryan? Hey.
Obligatory Ryan reference. Love you guys. Have a good one. Later.